My name is Richard Kattah, CEO and founder of Little Drops Production. I am the film director as well. How did I get into filmmaking? It's a weird one because I didn't really want to get into filmmaking. That's the funny thing. My main focus was more computer science. I was kind of like I'd say the geek. I wanted to learn how to hack a computer or program stuff or program websites or program games or something like that. So my main focus was more computing. So I'd say a few years ago, my memory when it comes to programming and stuff was really good. Things changed. Things changed because of the people that I was around, the friends that I was around, and that kind of influenced me to sort of change my, I would say, mindset from going from being a programmer to actually getting into films. Funny thing is, this might sound cliche, but yes, when I was a kid, again, I was really into computers and stuff, but when I watched films, I just hated the way films ended. It was quite open, if you get what I mean. It was just like, oh, is that it? Like, I want more. So what if it was this way? What if it ended this way? So I didn't necessarily have the stuff around me to help me create these things. So it was just oh well, I can't really do anything. So I mean, slowly when I came to London eventually from Ghana, because I grew up in Ghana. So when I came to London eventually, my mom had like a little small camera at home. Again, sounds very, very cliche when people say, oh, I started learning how to film when I started grabbing the camera, but it's more or less what happened. So we'll have like little parties in the house and I'll just grab the camera, film it, edit it with iMovie, send it to my boys. They'll be like, yeah, it's all right, do you know what I mean? But I wasn't taking it serious at that time. I think it wasn't until, I'd say 2003 or 4, something like that. One of my friends called Ronzi, he used to manage a team called, a music group called Warrior ENT. And with Warrior ENT, they've got an individual in that team who had his own production company, Snowpix Media. So at that time, I had no knowledge about filming, whatever. So he was like, if you want to get into it, I know people who can help you. I was like, okay, let's make it happen. Like, why not? So I think the first shoot that I went to was a music video shoot. And at this time, I had no knowledge as to what a camera was, how to even work a camera. I had no idea how it worked. So it was more of I was on set as a runner, and it's like this guy would shout at me, yo, bring me the 50. I'm like, what's the 50? I don't have 50 pounds on me. Because no, I mean, the lens, bring the 50. So he got frustrated and he went and got that himself. So I think that's how I started learning slowly. So I did my my first little short film with my friend Ty. He was a music student. So what happened was that he came to my house one time. I was like, bro, you do media and you've got equipment. I mean, I feel like I've got an idea to sort of write a script. Let's just put something together and let's do something. He goes, bro, I don't mind. So it took us like less than 2 hours to put together a script. So when we did that, we filmed it, I think, the week after. So I used my mom, I used my sisters, I used my house, I used my friends, just brought them together and we just did it. I'll tell you this for a fact, it was terrible. At that time, it was cool because I didn't know how to do anything and we've done something. Now, when he came to editing, he couldn't do it. So I had to learn how to edit in a month. So I just jumped on YouTube. I was learning how to edit, and my cousin at that time used to work for NBC Universal, so he was just guiding me here and there how to work things. And eventually, I had my first short film, put it out there, and it's so weird. It got selected at a film festival in France. So I was just like, okay, I was excited because it was my first film. But it was good that I had friends around me who were quite honest. Like, at that time, I didn't really know Kingsley Amani. I just knew him as Andy's brother. So he watched it and he told me straight away, it's dead. Which I get. At that time, I felt like it was alright. For my first film, I thought it was good, but he said it was dead. And from there, I said to him that, you know what, let's do something together, me and you. So I kind of like tailored a story for him, which was my next film that I did, which was Untamed. Untamed was more like an MMA-based short film. I think we filmed for 5 days. And that one was interesting. We had a pro MMA fighter in the film as well called Linton Vassell. If you search him up, he's a pro MMA fighter. So that was a big deal for me at that time, and I think from there it was just a momentum. It's just, again, I just felt like I wasn't perfect at that time. I was still learning, if you get what I mean. So still jumping on YouTube, still reading books when I can. YouTube was more what I did religiously, actually. There's a YouTube channel called Film Right that I used to just bang out. Like, literally just bang it out. Literally every time there's an episode out, I'm running to just look at things. So I'll watch Film Right, go practice some stuff, or I'll watch, let's say, Video Copilot and start practicing some stuff. So as the years went by, I went from just that runner to someone who actually knew more than he should, if you get what I mean. So it's like I kept on going over and over again, kept on learning over and over again, and I'd say here we are. But I'm not done yet, because every day you're still learning. Do you understand? So I don't think I'm at a level where I feel like, you know what, I'm good. I still feel like there's still a lot to learn, and I just feel like once I get to that point, there's no ending. You have to keep going, and keep going. So it's more like a consistent thing for me right now. So yeah, that's been my journey so far. Yeah. So when it comes to the films that I do, or Little Drops Production we do, it tends to be more. So our niche is more like I would say psychological thriller type of thing. It's just here and there we do a bit of I would say crime, which when it comes to crime, that's crime comedy. Then that's when we have the Stakeout, we have the Dead Note, crime. Things get a little bit serious. That's when we get the On Duty. If you notice that most of our films has this kind of low key type of look, because I like everything moody. I hate it when things are too high key. It's only when we were working on stuff that maybe are, let's say, educational, then we go for the high key approach. So the film that we did for a client, Yana, it's an educational film, so that was more high key. Again, Amani, that's high key. What else is high key? Another one that we did called Last Cry as well, that's on our Vimeo right now. That's high key as well. But most of our films are usually psychological thriller, crime. Yeah, so I would say we kind of like dive into all genre if we can. But only genre that I wouldn't dive into, or my team wouldn't dive into, would be romance. That's no for me. I definitely want to do horror, but I hate anything romantic. How did I end up directing Amani? Okay, so how did this happen? I was in LA at the time. First round, I was in LA working for a company called Seek VR, and I think I must have got an email. No, one of my friends called Liam Patrick. He said that I've got someone who wants a film sorted, so I'm gonna patch you guys through together. I was like, yeah, no problem. So he created a group chat. We were speaking at the time, and then Liam sort of removed himself. So it was myself and Amani. We were speaking a lot about the project, what he was done, and everything. So when he told us about the idea, it's like when he told me straight away, I had goosebumps, because I was thinking, raw, this is more or less, we're telling your story, like something that you've been through, and you want us to tell it. And I think I was very excited for it, because I felt like it was a challenge that we were willing to uphold, if you get what I mean. So we had a couple meetings here and there, and I think the last meeting that we had, the first meeting I had was with Javan. I was in LA, and the meeting literally lasted for 5 minutes, because I had to film something, and then he had to go somewhere. So it was literally, we met up, and he was like, yo, what's going on, bro? Boom. I was like, yeah, so like what we said. And he goes, yeah, like obviously you're directing the tin, innit? I was like, yeah. So like, well, yeah, we're down. If you're down, just give us the script. We'll just go from there. Alright, cool, boom. I got a mouse. Alright, cool. Let's make this happen. Alright, cool, boom. And then he just, just cut it off, and then I just went and did my thing. So when we came back to London, eventually I had a meeting with myself, Jocelyn, Gabs, Amani, and Gabs is my production manager for Little Drops, and Amani and Javan. So we just sat down and just spoke about the whole process, and we just talking about the scenes, talking about the script, how many scenes it would be, the breakdown and all that kind of stuff. And that's how it just went from there, to be honest with you. Yeah. So on set, what we did was him being a producer, he was more or less around most of the time. So it's usually when we're filming, it's more of a, yo, Amani, let me have a quick word. Tell me exactly what happened. And then when he explains it to me, I'm just like, all right, cool. So we do it, and then it's like I always have to double check with him just to make sure is that how it happened. Because we didn't necessarily capture everything that happened exactly the same way it did on the day, but it was, as long as it's as close to the events, then it worked for him. So most of the time it was more, we're filming and then he's looking, and I look at him when we're done, when we wrap, we're like, are you happy with that? He goes, yeah, I'm good. And then we just move on to the next thing, yeah. It was literally every single scene that we film. I think I remember making sure that he's happy with it, because the thing about us is that when we're working with clients, we just need to make sure that they're happy on the day. So we film it. Are you happy with that scene? Yeah. Oh, I want to change that a little bit. All right, cool. Let's do that again, guys. Let's reset. Let's change it again, and then we just go from there. Yeah. Amani took us 7 days to film. Yeah, 7 days to film. Initially, we estimated it to be 4 days, but Amani actually took 7 days. Mainly because it was, realistically, there's 57 scenes. So from 57 scenes, we underestimated and we felt like we could knock everything out in 4 days. But truth be told, we couldn't. So I think in the 4th day, I must have approached Amani. I said to him, bro, was it on the 4th or on the 3rd day? I think it was one of those days. I approached him, I said to him, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. We need a few more days to just knock this out, because we want this to be as good as possible. We don't want to rush and then just get this out of the way because, oh yeah, we only have 4 days. So spoke to him, he was like, yeah, let's make it happen. He approved it, Jovan approved it as well, and then we had those 3 extra days, and then we just filmed it, yeah. So filming Amani was very interesting because, and I would give props to my team for putting that much work into it, because we endured more than 14 hours of filming sometimes. Sometimes we're filming at least 16 if need be. And we have this mentality, if we have to get this done, let's just get it done. So it was more just work through the hours. There were times where, I think there was a time that we had a set, we started filming so call time was 8 o'clock. Wrap time was meant to be 8 o'clock, but it wasn't. I think it was about 10, 11. And we had to do the same thing again the next day. So it was either we adjusted the timesheet for the next day or we kept with it. So we're done with that day, and then we'll go home. And remember, we live far. I mean, I live in Essex, so driving home to Essex, dropping off some of the runners and production assistants, all that kind of stuff, and then doing the same thing again the next day, starting at, let's say, 9 o'clock. And then it's like, for me, there were times where there's one thing that I do on set is when I'm filming, I don't eat. I'd rather my team eat than I eat after, because my mind is just on the job. Like, I want to get this done. You understand? I want to get this done. I want to get this done right. You understand? So it was just the hours were stupid, but I wasn't complaining, and none of my team were complaining about the hours, to be honest with you, because we knew what we're getting ourselves into. We knew that this project was gonna touch lives. You understand? So we were willing to put in the hours, and I don't think any of my teams ever complain about those hours. And I think if they had the opportunity to do it again, they will do it again. I remember my production manager, she's got a son, and there was a day that we were filming up until, let's say, 7 a.m. So we started at 8, and we went through the night. So through the morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., you could hear the birds. The sun was rising, we're still filming, I think up until about 7:30, and at this point we were just finished. And I remember there was a time I was getting so tired that I had to literally jump out of the ambulance and then jog up and down just to wake myself up and then just get on with it. So some of the team, I think when they're not working, they were sleeping, which was understandable, because it was tiring. It was tiring, but I think it was really, really worth it. So Amani, yeah, we putting a lot of hours into it. Yeah, every single person. The reaction from Amani was good. I think, yeah, I liked the reaction, especially reading all the YouTube views and everything. I mean the YouTube comments about how people felt like they really enjoyed the story, they really enjoyed the storytelling. I think it was more about what was put together in the film, which is basically Amani's story. And I am, myself and my team were quite happy about the fact that it's touched a lot of people's heart, because if it wasn't for us, truth be told, it wouldn't have been put together. So I'm happy about the fact that it's actually touched a lot of people. And I'm actually happy about the fact that Amani and Javan came to us and said, we want you guys to help produce the film for us. So yeah. So after producing Amani, after Amani's actually been released and people found out that Little Drops were involved as well, we've had a lot of people come up to us and said that they want similar things done. So I think we had 3-4 clients or potential clients who said that they've been through something similar and they want to sort of recreate that. And truth be told, there was some that were quite interesting and some that were just like, are you just doing it because you just want to do it, or you actually really want to tell the story? And I think some of them were approaching it from not from the ways that we actually want to approach it, if you get what I mean. So it was more they wanted to just do the film because, oh yeah, there's a film like that out, so yeah, they want to do something as well. But there was no real impact from it, if you get what I mean. So there was some of the stuff that we had to turn down. And then there's a few that we're actually working on at the moment. So I can't really speak about much yet. But working on Amani is I would say it's brought us people who want similar things, but we don't want that. We don't want to do similar things. We are that kind of people. This is our ethos is we make sure that our previous work, our next work is better than our previous. You understand? So what we've done with Amani is great. Okay, that's fine, but we want to move on to the next step. What's next? You understand? So we don't want to move to the next step where it's literally the same thing. We're doing another knife crime film or we just want to do something that will impact people, but it will be different from that. Does that make sense? So yeah. One of the hardest thing being a director, I would say, is sometimes you doubt yourself. Yeah. My friends do tell me that a lot, especially Jocelyn. Because it's like they keep saying this, bro, you know you're sick, you know you're good. But inside of me, I always doubt myself. I'm just like, yeah, but I could do more, if you know what I mean. So it's like I leave myself vulnerable, if you get what I mean. So it's like, even though I do something and I'm good at it, I just feel like, nah, is it good enough? Now, yes, let me tell you a little secret. Before I go to shoot, I am always afraid before I go to shoot on the first day. Always on the first day of shoot, I'm always scared. Even though I shouldn't be, I come across as very confident when it comes to set, trust me. But on the very first day, maybe in the first 2-3 hours, it's just like, it's crunch time, let's make this happen, do you understand? And then eventually I get into it. So apart from directing, I used to write, but I don't do that anymore because I have one of the sickest writers in my team, Temi Yusuf. So I don't really write anymore because she's good at that. I mean, sometimes I would say I produce, because when it comes to putting a shoot together, because I think we're working on something soon. It's not a film, it's more like it's a show, but it's for someone. So that again, I'm having to produce it because I'm having to bring this and this and that together to make it work. So I'd say predominantly I would say I produce, I edit. There's a show that we've got as well on Timeline. It's called Timeline. So sometimes I edit that as well, but I'm also the executive producer for that show. So yeah, I executive produce, I edit, I produce. I used to write, but I don't write anymore. Yeah, if I need to do first AD, I'll first AD as well, because I help my friends, because I have all these media people, all these creatives around me. So if I need to help out, I'll help out where I can. We've got a lot planned out. I can't really say much about it right now because I'd rather not say, but we've got a lot of things planned out and we just want to put everything together, have a master plan, and then just push it out. So potentially people could see a few things from Little Drops before the end of the year, 100%. Because we want to be that name that everyone keeps saying, Little Drops, Little Drops, Little Drops, yeah.